Digital Turbine is a very complex business and guess what? Also a secret monopoly. And we don't beat around the bush on this channel. This is the two main businesses that Digital Turbine is involved in. One of which is a monopoly and we're gonna have a look at it just now. So as you can see, there are two businesses, operators and OEMs, and the other one is advertisers and publishers. Now the definition of OEMs are basically manufacturers, and in this case we are talking about mobile phones and other electric devices that are actually growing and becoming more important on our day-to-day lives. And this that you see on the screen are the OEMs working with Digital Turbine. And this is the big deal, guys. Really pay attention. These are companies, they have an exclusive deal with Digital Turbine. Just extremely big companies like, for example, Samsung, LG, Lenovo, but also Nokia. Basically all the mobile phones producers, and they are working only with Digital Turbine. And now that I have your attention, do you know what Digital Turbine does for them? Well, when you get a new phone, when you buy a new phone, what Digital Turbine does, they pre-install apps onto the phone, and that is based on your preferences, whether you're male or female, your age, your ethnicity, your everything. And basically Digital Turbines add these apps based on the requirements of the OEMs and also their customers. And this is a total monopoly of Digital Turbine. As you saw earlier, most of the OEMs are massive manufacturers and they've been selling so many mobiles. And perhaps many mobiles is not sufficient to just show you what number of mobiles there are around. Some of these, obviously, they are not with Digital Turbine apps on, so there is still room for penetration. And in fact, only 20% of the total global Android smartphone has been penetrated, has been taken over by Digital Turbine. Look at the number, 600 million phones. This is the number of phones that can work with Digital Turbine, and they can make them a lot of money. And this business on its own is incredibly big for Digital Turbine, and there is even more. The second side of the business is still incredibly important, and it constitutes 50% of the total revenues, and also that side is growing exponentially. We're gonna have a look at it in just 1 second, but remember that if you want to stay up to date on growth stocks like Digital Turbine, this is the channel. I make videos like this one. But now let's move on the second side of the business, and this one, guys, it's insane. Now the second side of the business is based on advertisers and publishers, but this second area is much newer for this company. They actually acquired 3 companies. Yes, I said 3 companies very recently, and we're gonna have a look at the cash position later in the video. There are actually some negative things to talk about Digital Turbine as well, but these companies are here on the screen, and they've added all the side that is about publishing, about advertisement, and this is the side that is gonna explode. I'm gonna show you the numbers. And so just 1 quick second for you to understand that this company is developing as we speak, so the future is very uncertain, even though this company has been growing so much. We're talking about double, triple digit. That's the kind of growth we've seen with Digital Turbine. But now let's dive deeper into the number and their offer as Digital Turbine to all their customers. Now this is the offer for Digital Turbine. It's literally end-to-end. Literally from the first day revenues, and this is the kind of money they've been making for years now. They've been around for quite a long while, Digital Turbine. It's not like the new kid on the block. They've been around for a while, but now for the last actually 2 quarters, not too long, they now can have recurring lifetime revenues. And it's end-to-end content discovery, brand advertising, and so on. Is literally from one side all the way to the other. And if you're not sold so far, imagine that this company, Digital Turbine, is the only one offering this kind of service from end to end. Literally, there is no other competitor that is able to offer the whole lot. But if you still need even more reasons to buy, because that's obviously what we are looking at now, there is even more. I just realized how bullish the sentence I said earlier, but let me tell you that there are even negative things later. So this is what we are looking at right now. This is the mobile ad revenue market, and that is what Digital Turbine is tapping into by buying all those companies. So at the time of recording in 2021, the total market is about 341 billion, and it's mostly dominated by Google, Facebook, and then there is the rest. Now, Digital Turbine works with Google, obviously works on Android mostly, and also on Apple. But what is really good is that this ad revenue market is another extremely interesting market on its own. Even if you don't want to invest in Digital Turbine, look for other companies because they're all growing, because the market on its own is growing. Looking at 341, and then it's gonna go up by about 10% year on year. Just the market on its own, without having to do any work, the company can pick up on these extra sales. And what kind of growth can we expect then with this market going up, with all these acquisitions? Well, let me show you. Well, these are the numbers that you have on the screen, and as you can see, the growth has already been incredibly insane already in 2021, and then in 2022, 280%. Yes, that is insane. And then obviously, because we don't want to slow down and not be a double-digit company, here we have 32% growth even in 23. So, and the good thing is all this growth also trickles down to the bottom line, so the EBITDA. And as you can see, the growth is insane. The cost of this company, the fixed costs and everything, are very low. So most of the money they make turns into EBITDA. That's an awful lot of cash. And yes, I said the C word, cash. We're gonna have a look at it in 1 second. And to be honest, that's one thing we really need to dive deep into. But first, let's have a look at the assets versus liability. And unfortunately, we are entering the realm of things that are not great for Digital Turbine. Now, let's have a look at the assets first of all. And as you can see, there is an awful lot of goodwill, which is based on the new acquisitions. So I wouldn't even count into it. Then other intangibilities, again, something else that could actually be just taken off, and that on its own is basically $1 billion. So the assets overall are very low if you think that obviously they have bought so much and so forth. But what's really not looking good, and this is one of the things I wanted to just make you aware, because this channel is not just about being bullish for the sake of being bullish, buy everything because everything is good. Let me show you even the negative things. Now, we have total liabilities of almost $1 billion, about $900 million, and most of it, thank God, is long-term debt. Overall, the company is profitable, so it's able to produce cash, which should be able to cover all this debt, and that is what they're probably hoping. But now let's have a look at the cash, because as you know, that's very important to make sure that the company covers their debt, especially in the very short term. Now, what I'm about to show you may scare you, but later I have some good news about this company. Total debt issue, as I said, they just issued an awful lot of debt, and overall the amount of cash at the end of the period is only $84 million. That's not a lot compared to the amount of liabilities they have sitting on the balance sheet. This company is a risky play at the time of recording, obviously with so much debt, but also an incredible amount of growth. But I also promised you incredibly good news on this company. Now, a few days ago, I told you everything about Facebook and the fact that the company is actually one of the biggest social network, and there is almost nobody competing with Facebook. At the same time, I've also told you that Google has got YouTube, and the only one who can compete with YouTube at the time of recording is TikTok. And guess who's working with Digital Turbine? TikTok has announced a comprehensive expansion of its app distribution partnership to North America, Digital Turbine and TikTok. But I'm not done about making videos on Digital Turbine. I think I've just scratched the surface.